to our first regular quarterly consultative meeting for the year 2025. It is therefore appropriate to start by wishing you all a blissful New Year. You may recall that last year began and ended with a number of elections. Overall, the Commission conducted 51 rerun elections, by-elections, and off-cycle elections in 2024. In February last year, the Commission conducted rerun elections in 39 constituencies, combined with by-elections arising from vacancies in the National and State Assemblies. We also conducted 2 governorship elections, the last one held in November in Ondo State. Furthermore, we had several electoral activities, including the continuous voter registration ahead of the Edo and Ondo State governorship elections, the publication of our 2023 General Election Report, and the release of the review report containing 142 recommendations arising from our in-house and external engagements with stakeholders. Similarly, we sustained our engagements with stakeholders. During the year, we had a total of 16 regular consultative meetings with political parties, civil society organizations, the media, and security agencies, in addition to extraordinary meetings as the need arose. Sadly, in 2024, our state office in Benin City was flooded, but we were able to recover ahead of the election. Elsewhere, 2 of our local government offices were attacked in incidents unrelated to elections or electoral activities. In the headquarters of Ukum, local government area of Benue State, the place is known as Sankara. Our office, along with other public buildings and private institutions in the area, was attacked during a local protest against insecurity. In Oa Oibu, the headquarters of Ika Northeast, local government area of Delta State, our office was destroyed in a fire incident. The Commission is glad that our staff were safe in the 2 locations. However, many electoral assets were lost and the buildings substantially damaged. In terms of elections and electoral activities, the year 2025 is going to be as busy, if not busier, than the year 2024. You may recall that at our last regular consultative meeting held on the 17th of October last year, the Commission released the timetable and schedule of activities for the Anambra State governorship election, holding on Saturday, the 8th of November, 2025. Already, the notice for the election has been published over 2 months ago, as provided in the timetable. The next activity is the conduct of primaries by political parties. May I remind leaders of political parties that primaries for the nomination of candidates for the Anambra State governorship election begins in the next 2 months. That is, from the 20th of March to the 14th of April, 2025. You may similarly recall that at our last regular meeting, we agreed that you will forward your schedule of activities for the election to the Commission to enable us work together and plan better for the deployment of personnel and resources for the monitoring of your party primaries and campaign activities in order to avoid the last-minute rush with the attendant inability to meet deadlines and unnecessarily dissipating our energy and lay resources. So far, only a few parties are in compliance. I urge those that have not done so to submit the details by the end of this week. Even as we prepare for the Anambra State governorship election, we are always mindful of our responsibilities for other elections and electoral activities. For instance, Section 28, subsection 1 of the Electoral Act 2022 requires the Commission to issue the notice for elections not later than 360 days before the date of the election. This applies to the general as well as off-cycle elections. As you are aware, the Commission is responsible for the area council election in the Federal Capital Territory, the only part of the country where INEC conducts local government elections, and the only part of the country where there has never been a caretaker committee, where there has been regularity of elections, where there has been certainty of tenure, and where no one political party has ever won all the seats in the area council in the FCT. INEC conducts the elections in the Federal Capital Territory for the area councils. The last area council election in the FCT was held on 12th February 2022. By the effluxion of time, the tenure of the current chairman and councillors ends next year. Consequently, the Commission has approved that the 2026 area council election in the FCT will hold on Saturday, 21st February 2026. Voting will take place in all the designated polling units across the 68 constituencies to elect 6 area council chairmen and 62 councillors. In compliance with the mandatory legal requirements, the notice for the election in the FCT will be published next month, that is on the 26th of February 2025. Primaries will be held from 9th to 30th June 2025. The candidate nomination portal will open from 9 a.m. on 21st July to 6 p.m. on 11th August 2025. The final list of candidates will be published on 22nd September 2025. Campaign in public by political parties will commence on 24th September 2025 and end at midnight of Thursday, 19th February 2026. The detailed timetable and schedule of activities for the election, as well as the list of constituencies and type of elections in the FCT, will be uploaded to our website before the end of this meeting. Hard copies of the 2 documents have been included in your folders for this meeting. For your guidance, we are also including hard copies of the Regulation and Guidelines for Political Parties 2022 in your folders, while the soft copy is already available from our website. In due course, the Commission will come up with plans for other routine activities, such as the continuous voter registration and the conduct of outstanding by-elections. Over the last 1.5 years, since the inauguration of the current National and State Assemblies in June 2023, vacancies have occurred in 23 constituencies as a result of death of serving members or their voluntary resignation for executive positions at federal, state, and even local government levels as ministers, commissioners, chairman of a local government, and even board members. While the Commission has conducted 9 by-elections early last year, 14 vacancies have occurred since then. They are unpredictable, unbudgeted, and difficult to plan in advance. Worse, some of the by-elections lead to more by-elections. There were situations where a by-election in one senatorial district was won by a serving member of the House of Representatives from the same district, thereby creating another vacancy. In turn, a member of the State Assembly won the by-election to the House of Representatives, thereby creating a vacancy in the State Assembly. Consequently, one by-election led to 3 by-elections. Not only are these by-elections costly, they also divert the Commission's attention from its other extensive electoral responsibilities. Over the last 9 years, since 2016, the present Commission has been advocating for a more cost-effective alternative of filling vacancies, as in the case of many other jurisdictions around the world. We have similarly been appealing to stakeholders, including political parties, to join the advocacy for the National Assembly to amend the law accordingly. Just 3 weeks ago, we canvassed this position once again during the defense of our 2025 budget before the Joint Committee of the Senate and House of Representatives at the National Assembly. We are glad that more Nigerians are now joining the advocacy. We hope that working together will continue to reform and improve our electoral process. I want on this note to thank the leaders of political parties. Before we conducted the first set of by-elections in February last year, there were 2 vacancies in the Senate and 4 or 5 vacancies in the House of Representatives. I recall that we appealed to you as leaders of political parties to nominate fresh candidates for these by-elections instead of serving members, so that we don't have to conduct several by-elections. And I'm very happy to say that all the political parties responded positively. I want to thank you, and I wish that we'll continue in this cooperative spirit so that we'll be conducting 1 by-election for 1 constituency rather than 3 by-elections for 1 constituency. So on this note, I want to welcome you once again to this meeting. I thank you.
It's our honor and great privilege to address you in the first independent National Electoral Commission quarterly consultative meeting with leaders of political parties for the first time in the year 2025. We thank God for the grace of a new year as we hope for a more productive and prosperous year 2025. This meeting, therefore, provides us another opportunity to evaluate the nation's democracy since 1999, when the military handed over power to civilians, ushering in the 4th Republic in our democratic experience as a nation. The evaluation will no doubt assist us in charting the way forward towards the realization of the dream of our vision of our forefathers. Accordingly, May 29, 2025 will be the midterm for public officers elected in the 2023 general elections, and also an opportunity to evaluate how elected officers have delivered on the electoral promises to the Nigerian people, as well as how political actors have deepened the nation's democracy. On its part, INEC, as a regulatory body of political parties, have conducted several general elections from 1999 to 2023. Aside numerous off-season elections, by-elections, rerun elections, and supplementary elections, with remarkable reforms and steady development in the electoral process, so much is expected from the Commission in conducting free, fair, credible, transparent, and inclusive elections that meet international standards. Therefore, the preparation for the conduct of the 8th general election in 2027 should commence immediately to enable the Commission put in place all requirements in due time and to meet expectations of Nigerians. While preparation for the Anambra State gubernatorial election are on, the Commission should also activate its election project plan, EPP, the Strategic Program of Action, SPA, the 2022-2026 Strategic Plan and Strategic Plan, Implementation Program, SPIP, for the 2027 general election. To whom much is given, much is expected. INEC should know that fellow compatriots count on it for transparent elections that will usher in visionary leaders who will transform the nation. The Commission should justify the confidence reposed in it, put its act together, and improve on previous performances. There is no doubt that the conduct of successful election is a collective responsibility of stakeholders. It is the reason we must rebuild trust in the electoral process. Low voter turnout in the previous election is worrisome and a sad commentary in our democratic process. This narrative must change. We must continue to work together in ensuring electoral integrity, the sanctity of the ballot box, and the mandate of the people. Therefore, IPAC urges stakeholders to support the Commission in discharging its statutory duties, essential in consolidating and strengthening our constitutional governance. Similarly, Council urges the National Assembly to expedite action in the ongoing Constitution and Electoral Act amendment, as time is of the essence, as well as ensure diligent and speedy consideration and passage of the 2025 Appropriation Bill. We also urge citizens to be alive to their civic responsibilities and ensure that those they voted into power in the office should give genuine account of their stewardship. Their performance will determine their fate in the next election, official elections. Expectations of Nigerians are becoming higher. Government at all levels should articulate and implement people-focused programs and projects that will assuage their sufferings and foster economic growth, political stability, social justice, religious harmony, and national security and unity. As leaders of political parties, we are committed to making our democracy work for the benefit of the people on whom sovereignty resides. Nation building is a collective responsibility. We should therefore set aside partisan politics, victimization of political opponents, and marginalization of fellow citizens. Though our democracy is not where it should be, 26 years of uninterrupted representative governance in May 2025, 65 years of independence in October, and 102 years of evolution of political parties in Nigeria are testaments of our resilience, patriotism, and democratic zeal as a nation. To commemorate this giant stride in our democratic journey, the Inter-Party Advisory Council will launch its book, 100 Years of Political Parties Evolution in Nigeria, that's 1923 to 2023, on the 30th of January 2025 at the Abuja Continental Hotel, formerly Sheraton Hotel, Abuja, with a roundtable discussion on the theme, 100 Years of Political Parties Evolution in Nigeria, the imperative of Nigeria's political stability, issues and solutions. This will be followed by the production of a movie, Unbroken, 2.5 decades of unbroken democracy. It is hoped that the book and movie will motivate all lovers of democracy to persevere and keep watering and nurturing the tree of democracy to maturity. Council is also aware of leadership disputes in some political parties that tend to overheat the polity and enjoin the affected parties to avail themselves of the IPAC Alternative Dispute Resolution Mechanism to address them instead of dissipating energy in elongated litigation in court. IPAC urges members to adhere strictly to their respective constitution in nomination of candidates for election, discipline of members and leadership change. Compliance to party constitution and the rule of law will curb crises that impede the development of our emerging democracy. The most outrageous of this is the recent attempt by undemocratic forces to hijack the leadership of the National Rescue Movement, NRM, on the 17th January 2025 in Abuja, led by Mr. Chief Edozie Njoku, the former factional Afghan national chairman, who was recently removed from office on the 27th November 2024 by the Supreme Court, which restated Barrister Sly Eze Okenwa as the authentic national chairman of the party. In the worst political gymnastics, if not mockery, the embattled national chairman of NRM, Mr. Isaac Ude, who was having a leadership disagreement with his party National Executive Council or Committee, resigned as the chairman of the party, arrogating to himself the position of the National Organizing Secretary of the party. IPAC strongly condemned this political absurdity that has further dented the nation's democracy. It is preposterous and uncalled for a deliberate attempt to bring the party to ridicule and disrepute. Nigerians watch the news of the purported convention on television. Except the embattled chairman, no member of the party's National Management Committee or the National Executive Committee was in that jamboree called emergency convention conducted to hoodwink unsuspecting members of the public. Council urges INEC not to recognize the outcome of the so-called convention stage in flagrant violation of the NRM Constitution on any other party in which such a clear violation exists. Political parties belong to all Nigerians, and every Nigerian is at liberty to join any political party of his choice. However, it has to be in line with the party's constitution. But to join a party with the sole aim of becoming its national chairman, contrary to its constitution, is unjust and repugnant to good conscience and should be condemned by all lovers of democratic governance. The judiciary ought to be the last hope of the aggrieved people. As the temple of judiciary ought to be the last hope of the people, as the temple of justice, it is expected to dispense justice without fear or favor. Sadly, okay. I'm here for the last page. Okay. Sadly, some judicial officers have turned the court to a bazaar. We call on the Chief Justice of Nigeria to wield the big stick on corrupt justices, especially the ones that meddle in the internal affairs of political parties, to serve as deterrent to others. As the umbrella body of all registered political parties in Nigeria,